Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Motivate Magazine Interviews. Today, I have with me Monika Mateja. She is coming to us from the United Kingdom, and she has a successful article that was published in issue 5 of Motivate Magazine. And you can find out more at motivatemagazine.com. Again, my name is Kim Langling. I am an author, freelance writer, and podcast host and public speaker. And I am here today to interview the lovely lady that I just mentioned. She is a life coach and a naturopathic chef, and she has a journey to share with us. So welcome, Monika. Thanks so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
So I am curious, you went from corporate to holistic health. That's a bit of a jump, going from corporate to holistic health. So you did this, you took this jump, you took this fork in the road. You mentioned a fork in the road in your article. And I love that saying because it always gives me this visual picture of, literally a fork in the road. So you chose, but was that fork put in your path, or it was just there and you thought, no, I'm going to do this now?
Well, yes, that was a bit of a jump, I must say. Yeah. But I've always been interested in wellness and spa. I mean, I love visiting all the spas. I don't know whether you like, but I just love going and having that time for me, right? But unfortunately, at some point, I didn't have that time. So with all the health issues and all of that, I've started to basically realize that just I need more time for myself and started to healing myself. And once I've sort of gone through that journey, I've just decided it can help so many other people, right? So I thought that this fork was there all the time, but sometimes it wasn't visible enough, right? For me to make that jump, because it was like, you know how it is in a corporate, I don't know whether people can resonate, but it's just like, it's comfortable, it's safe, it's just, I can be there because I've worked hard. I got into the certain point where it's okay, everybody knows me, right? So I can just be there forever if I want to, right? So this fog became like more and more visible and calling me like, maybe you should make that jump and choice now, because you obviously have things to share with other people and share the journey, right? So yeah, in 2019 I've decided to do that, right?
And you started, first off, what is the name of your business?
Right, so it's Live Well Coaching, Well Coaching Limited. It's just really I wanted to make sure that it's all encompassing. It's a holistic approach. We look at really various aspects of that. So I've decided yeah, that's a good name. That's something I wanted to go for, and let's just set it up for £13.
There you go.
I set it up, I think set it up, in August. I set it up in August 2019. And it was like, oh, that's it, really. It took me half an hour on the computer, and I just set it up.
And here you are, almost, well, close to 2 years later.
Yeah, exactly. So and definitely it was a journey, or it still is a journey. And I think it's almost 2 years, and I actually written an ebook on the 1 year journey, because I was like, I'm going to document that and see how it's going to be and how I was feeling. So obviously, 2020 was not like no other, right? So there wasn't any comparison. So when I started sort of really in September with my first clients, I was doing a lot of face-to-face networking, and I was really going to places, different thing. And I was like, oh, okay, so I'll just build that. And then in March, everything stopped, right? So I had to move online. So I had my clients online as well. And I started also in May coaching in public health as well. So really helping people with diabetes and the prevention and type 2. So it has been a journey for sure, with a lot of different things. But before the pandemic, I also was running supper clubs and cooking workshops, everything in my home. So that part of my business, unfortunately, has been sort of shut down, right? Because I couldn't have, and I don't know, I love doing that. We were just, it was like a community thing. So I had maximum about 6 people coming, And but they were just staying, like they came at 6 and left at 10, right? So they were just, it's not like a 2-hour slot in the restaurant.
Right.
That wasn't the
Right.
case. But we had so much fun and we discussed all sorts of different things. And they really, it was a part of the education through food. Yeah. Because I'm serving predominantly vegan, plant-based food.
Yep.
And they wanted to know why this, how you prepare all of the things. So, and plus any kind of health concerns they had and all of that. So I would absolutely love running those. I'm hoping to return to that at some point.
Well, it sounds fun. It sounds fun. Now, had you done, did you mention that you had done some of those cooking classes online?
Yeah, I did some online as well. So I'm particularly interested in like gut health. So, and one of the most popular workshop I did like in person was the fermentation workshop. So people wanted to know how to ferment different things. So kombuchas and, you know, all of different things. And I think it's the gut health exploded so much over the last few years, people realizing a lot of links into gut and how it really links to our health. So that was one of my popular workshops in person, and I just transferred it to online for a bit, just giving people that opportunity to learn more. And those are very simple recipes. So it really takes me 1 hour, one hour and a half, you know, to talk about gut health, and then also do 1 or 2 recipes with them.
Oh, that sounds fun, actually.
Yeah, it was really good. And it's just, I think it's just, you know, people wanted that community, wanted to understand a little bit about health as well, you know, and understanding where that is, and something practical. I'm very practical. That's why I've done the naturopathic chef course. It was 9 months diploma, but it wasn't only nutrition sitting in the class, but we were cooking in the kitchen and learning nutrition through that. Yeah. I'm a very kind of practical person. I love, you know, when I can combine my knowledge with the different things I can put in. So definitely that was the creative side, which was missing in my corporate. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, you know, at some point, you know, in your corporate work, you follow certain instructions, you follow this. And even if you feel like you can offer some innovation or some other things, quite often you may not be allowed to do it because for various reasons. And I was a person involved in so many different projects. I mean, we were shooting videos like in a corporate world, like as well. I love that innovation and connection as well. So that was really big part, but I felt that I couldn't be even more creative. So that's why I started my journey with cooking and actually learning as a naturopathic chef. And then I added the coaching bit to it. So that wasn't the first thing. I didn't even know what the coaching was. Right?
And now so this definitely it was a bigger jump than even I thought.
I know, it was like over a massive bridge. Like, it's like, yeah, there's a lot, I get a lot of questions like, how did you, like, you know, some people have that connection a little bit, like they are a bit of in some kind of training, or they do a bit of yoga or some other things, and then they add on coaching and all of that. For me, it was a completely different, because I was a supply chain in an engineering company. So it was like building, you know, massive projects. And that's the thing, I was looking for more feminine part as well. In the corporate, it was all very kind of a masculine environment. And
right.
I always say, like, if I were a buyer in a fashion house buying handbags and and clothes, probably that would be okay. Then I was in a corporate world doing completely, you know, impressive projects, don't get me wrong, and I learn a lot and I travel the world. But at some point I said, like, why not? You know, we have only one life, and why not change? You know.
So you had this was something that you had always done in your personal life, the holistic end of it, and
Yeah.
Okay, so you had that in your life.
Oh yeah, I had that, and I had that in my life for a lot of the times. And because I have my own illness, I have to sort of live with on a daily basis since I was 17, and I've sort of at some point in the corporate, I've noticed that I neglected that part a little bit, right? So I was just like, in our 20s and 30s, we can get away with a lot. In our 40s are like, okay,
Yeah, your
not
body.
the same anymore. You just wake up with no energy, with no reason. And so it's like, okay, it's the time to do something about it. But I had that holistic approach. Like, health was always part of my life. I had to always be careful with different things, and that was really part in my life. Plus, unfortunately, I lost my mum to cancer when she was 52. And to be honest, that was sort of really was a shock, like a trauma and a shock for me, that somebody that young can
Right.
really lose their life to that, and in a horrible way. I know, cancer is not, yeah, it can be really traumatic. So that sort of opened my eye. But unfortunately, I didn't. At that time, I threw myself back to work. Like, I need to work. I didn't think, it's just caught up with me a few days later.
And you had mentioned that, for your own personal health reasons. We were talking prior to
Mm,
recording that we both have diabetes.
yeah,
You have, what did you say, type 1?
yeah, type 1, right.
And I have a rare uncommon one, type 1.5. Yeah. Because I like to be different. So I have a rare form of diabetes.
Yeah.
But weird. And you had mentioned that you have had that since you were 17.
Yeah, and then again, that's the thing, because normally for that type 1, it's quite late anyway. Normally, quite young children has it, and they have it, and so that was a surprise as well. But it basically is in my family, right? So every kind of generation, like, nobody else has type 1 as I, so I was unfortunate with that.
Yeah.
And but I think, there is a purpose in all of what I think we face in our life, to a
Mhm.
certain degree, that we can share that message. And in the moment, because I work with people in a public health, I really can understand them and help them with what they go through. Obviously, type 2 is different. They can reverse it if they want to, most of the cases, not in all cases,
Mhm.
if they want to change their lifestyle. And I can totally, they really, I can resonate with them. Like, they really, oh, okay, so you understand this and that. And it's empowering, really, to be able to do that. And I think maybe that was my purpose at some point, just to
Well,
do
and
that.
it may be because when I was diagnosed, I'm 53 and I was just diagnosed a year ago, but I was
Mm,
diagnosed with type 2, and then my health just started really going downhill very, very quickly,
mm,
very quickly. And so I went to the doctor and got my regular blood work done. 2 hours later, they called me back and said, "You must return. All of your levels are critically high."
mm,
And when I got back, thankfully I was only, 5-minute drive away. When I returned there, they were at the door waiting for me. And they grabbed me by the elbow and walked me into an office and popped a needle in my arm with insulin and then started discussing what was going on. And it was kind of frightening. And I said, "Well, I haven't been feeling well. I'm really super tired. I don't know
mm.
what's going on." And it turns out I have this very uncommon form of
Yeah.
diabetes. So it wasn't just changing how I eat or anything. I had to change everything
Mm,
about my life. How much energy I put into doing this and what I do physically and what I eat and how much sleep I can try and get. And
yeah.
it's a big, big transition. You've lived with it your whole life. I'm still trying to figure out how to do it. I'm still at the beginning stage at my age. And it's, I can honestly say it's not fun. It's not fun having to give yourself a shot every day and watch every single bite that you eat. And what's something that you could share with the viewers, because there's an awful lot of people out there with the different types of diabetes. What's something that's motivating, a little nugget of hope that you can share with some of the viewers that are watching this right now, that may be struggling with health issues like that, or specifically diabetes, what's a little nugget of hope that you can give them, since you've lived with it your entire life almost?
Yeah, definitely. And what I would say, the patients who come from me, they come from all sorts of different backgrounds and different lifestyle. What I would say, don't wait for the perfect moment. Like, I'm going to look at this when I have a little bit of time. I have patients really coming through all different things, but they still can put a little bit small changes in the pockets of time available for them. And just recently, I had a gentleman, he reversed his type 2 diabetes, right? Because he really, so like, I need to do it. Yeah, I need to do it. He came, we worked on his mindset. He wasn't particularly liking a lot of exercise. I said, like, diet is the key for most of the people, right? So I don't want to generalize, but for most of the people, that's what for me was changing. My cholesterol levels with the diet just gone down. I'm not on any medications apart from insulin. So I say, like, and it doesn't have to be like a massive change over 1 week, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know in some situations there are some changes quickly required because the levels are so high of the sugar that people need to change, but it's all possible and it's a journey, right? So just really putting those small steps every day a little bit, and I call it like the compound effect, right? So you can have those actions, and in the end you will arrive when you want. And the whole change is forever, is a lifestyle change. So I work with them on the mindset, like, it's not from to, like, it's not a diet you're going to do today and you're going to just finish in 5 weeks time. You just have to be really go deep into why, and understanding that it's a journey. That's why we're doing this step by step. And I also empower them to check their bloods. They come to me and they don't know what is in their blood at all. Like, they don't know what there's the result. So like, well, how do you want to compare that? So the next thing they do, like, call there and say, like, I want to know the result, because and they feel empowered that they can ask for it, right?
Right.
And I just think, like, you just need basic things like cholesterol levels, what is the blood sugar, so you have something to compare to, right? And you can always request that. So don't be afraid to make changes, because they really will make your life wonderful, right? So although the very beginning it's going to be maybe challenging, because it's a change, we don't know what we're doing. Sometimes we second guess ourselves, and I think it's a kind of letting go of what was, and just really moving forward with what we're going to create. And I think there was a statistics about that, every decade of our lives we keep adding 2 to 3 medications, right? So if you can, and with a lot of the things with the lifestyle changes, and they don't have to be massive, we can change a lot.
And I think a lot of that, when someone might be diagnosed with something, and they do have to make it, at times it's drastic. It's a drastic change.
Yeah.
And it's not something that a lot of times it's something you have to change immediately. You can't just wean yourself into it, it's
Yeah.
change this or you're going to get even, more ill.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some of the patients come to me with such a high sugar levels. I'm like, oh my God. So that means, like, yeah, either they really got to the point that they really couldn't. Yeah. The one thing is, like, having the sudden, because of something stopped working overall. But in most cases in type 2, is like it builds up over the time. And at some point it's just so bad they feel, and some people don't even see the difference, feel the difference. Like, what really opened my eye, how individual we are, right? Like, every case that comes to me is different, although they all have the same kind of type 2, either borderline or fully diagnosed, but they are all different. They're not even struggling with weight in some cases. Like, there is no weight to lose, right? And they still come. Like, that sort of opened my eyes, because I didn't know. I think people have that you have to be a certain size to have that, and most of the case, yeah. But I have cases that's not that at all in some instances.
Yeah, and I'm a perfect example. I'm tall and thin, and I've never been overweight ever, and here I am, diabetic.
It's just like, I know it's
I'm not the stereotypical. There is a stereotype with diabetes, at least in
yeah.
America. In America, there
Yeah.
certainly is. Um, so even my doctor said, you are the least likely person I would ever have thought to become diabetic. And I said, well, it's a surprise to me too. You know, but
I know.
I think
Yeah.
a lot of it with people, it could be fear. I think there's a lot of fear involved in that too. And I know that there was some with me when, but mine was just such a strange situation and, you know, uncommon as it is, that for me, for a day, I was going, oh my gosh, what does this all mean? And what do I have to change? I have to change everything. So it was, I think you might get in that little swirl of fear. And I think a lot of people, probably a lot of folks you talk to, they probably carry a little bit of fear around because having diabetes is very serious. And if you don't keep it under control, you can die. You can
Mm.
lose your sight. You can have horrible problems with your feet. You can have a stroke. You can have a heart attack. I mean, those are not uncommon with people with diabetes. So, do you have folks come to you that have experienced some of that, or they do bring fear with them when you're talking to them?
Yeah, plenty of fear. It's amazing, but like I think like diabetes is that kind of thing that they are really scared of. That they quite often come with already some other things, right? So pre-existing conditions. But
Mhm.
once they get that diabetes, like, oh my goodness, this is something like they are really struggling to comprehend. Like why I got it, what do I need to do? So yes, I totally agree. There's a lot of fear of that, and they want to reverse it. And it seems like there is a bit of that kind of they I think they understand those as you said, this potential health risk, yeah, feet, eyes, and all of that. They are told that when they are diagnosed.
Mhm.
So they come to you and they just really want to like get rid of it almost immediately,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I just want to, and in some cases it's a drastic change. In some cases they need to get the medications to help them
Right.
and help the body to really this. And but then they want to work on the lifestyle and see how they can regulate it with the diet and the exercise.
So do you have as part of your coaching, do you, and you said that you work with a lot of diabetics. Is
Mm.
that your main group of people that you work with?
Yeah, so that's kind of in the public health, and in my private, it's sometimes yes, they come to me. Also, people want to lose weight, yeah, so they will come for that. So most of the time, and also I've recently started to work with medical professionals. So in terms of they like physicians, yeah, so they want to see whether they want to get some clarity, the clarity whether they, for example, want if they want to explore going into health and wellness, right, and lifestyle medicine. They are very attracted by that. Also coaching. So in UK, obviously, that health system is different. So we have obviously public health; it's paid, but the appointments are very short. It's like 10 minutes. And then next patients, next patient. So a lot of doctors, when they come to me, I can't quite often create the change I want,
Mm.
like the lifestyle in 10 minutes appointments, and I have to follow a certain protocol. And it's just like, I just want to do more. And then they come to me with that kind. So this is a kind of life coaching part of my business
Okay.
where I just work with them and to clarity, and I allow them to understand that do you really want to get and set up your business? Because if you set up, yes, you may have some patients, but then you have to go out and get your own clients, right? And not everyone is ready to do that, right? So they want to know what's involved and what kind of training and qualifications they need to become, for example, a coach. I've got loads of people interested now. I was scheduling chat all the way through, especially like doctors on maternity leaves, like with female that like, oh, I don't know if I once I have children, I want to have some flexibility, I don't want to go back to
Right.
the consultation room on a kind of 9 to 5 basis for 5 days a week, right?
Right.
So they're exploring the options, right?
That's wonderful though. And what a, it's a wide range of people that you're working with. And that's, I think that's amazing. It would be incredibly interesting every day.
yeah, so that's what I wanted to like create the business that I love. And I said, like, always they say you at the beginning, tell you at the beginning, like have your niche on your head. And I had it for quite a long time. So that was predominantly weight loss, right? And I had a lot of clients, but I just wanted to move on to something really interesting. And I found this kind of niche where, because I do coaching, I do coaching public health. So a lot of people were interested how to get into that, how they say, so like, oh, okay, right. So working on the clarity, and yeah, it gives me kind of the variety of people. It makes my marketing strategies a bit more complicated. I must say, I probably would need a team to manage all of that. But I say, like, if you are called to do something, you will make it happen. One.
Yes, if you are, yeah, if you feel that in your heart that that's
Yeah.
that's what your purpose is, then you really should go for it. Yeah. And you have. And it sounds to me like you've done a wonderful job. And along the way, you're helping out a tremendous amount of people in a very important area of life. And I enjoyed, excuse me, I enjoyed and appreciate just talking to you a little bit before we started, just about the diabetes thing. And I think, go you. You know, I see nothing but success ahead for you, because what you are able to offer is more than just telling someone, how to eat, or this is what you can eat. You're encompassing a lot more than people probably realize when they see life coach or naturopathic chef.
Mm.
I think that encompasses, it seems to me anyway, it encompasses a lot more than what those four words say. So I think it's wonderful what you're doing. And I thank you for your time and sharing part of your journey with us today for the MO2VATE magazine. And we hope that we see more of you in that magazine. So keep on writing.
That's great. Thank you very much for your time.
Now I'm going to share my screen for just a minute for folks that are watching. If you want to subscribe to MO2VATE Magazine, you can go to MO2VATEmagazine.com. It is the micro and small business owners' go-to business Bible. So check it out, MO2VATEmagazine.com. Thank you once again, Monika, for joining me today. It was such a pleasure to meet you and to chat with you a little bit today and learn about your businesses. Real quick, share where people can find you at.
It's very simple. So www.monikamateja.com. That's my website, and it's all there.
All right, wonderful. And the name of your business again, real quick?
Live Well Coaching Limited.
Live Well Coaching Limited. Thank you again for being with me today, and I wish you all the best of luck.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.